Ghostbusters.
Hello, my trigger-happy friends. My name is Stevie Cade, and thank you for joining me as I continue my journey reviewing all three Ghostbuster movies, the two originals and the one reboot, which is the one we are reviewing today.
Yay!
If you haven't been joining me for all my reviews for this series, just click here and get all caught up, and then come back to this video and join us for this conversation. Before we dive in, though, if you could, hit that subscribe button and the little bell ding thing so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Alright guys, so grab your keyboards, head down to the comment section, and let's review Ghostbusters, the reboot. The reboot nobody wanted. We didn't. Nobody wanted this piece of shit. Oh, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. I shouldn't have said that. The movie's not a piece of shit. But through many years of Dana Aykroyd giving us empty promises, Bill Murray's lack of desire to return to the franchise, and the passing of Harold Ramis pushed this reimagining into gear. And it's not great, but it does have some good qualities. So let's jump into what I do like about this movie. The visual effects. The Ghostbusters franchise has always suffered from dated effects, because both movies came out in the 80s. But this film really steps it up. It's vibrant, it's clean, and it's actually quite beautiful artwork from the VFX department. And it also has that fun, family-friendly appeal to it.
It's okay, she seems peaceful. That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
The plot and the story both hold up in this movie as well. We have our antagonist, Rowan North, played by Neil Casey. He has a set plan. We learn why he wants to implement this plan, what has brought him to this point in his life. He's a very hashed out villain. It's a solid plot, and the story is paced just right. It unfolds neatly and it's not messy or rushed. The prop designs for this film are exquisite. They're perfect. As I said before, the original Ghostbuster movies have actually done a good job making their props pretty timeless. The equipment doesn't look like it's straight from the 80s. It's pretty universal. And this movie just kind of reimagines everything, which I think it's pretty cool, especially when you're trying to reboot a series. You do want to do that. But it's not a huge departure from the originals. Chris Hemsworth. This dude steals every scene he's in. He's hilarious, and I don't get tired of it.
Can I ask why no glass?
Yeah, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
Oh, boy. I gotta try to keep that in mind.
Would it be okay if I bring my cat to work sometimes? He has major anxiety problems.
So far, this seems like a legit movie. I mean, it's got a good plot, good story, looks good. So what went wrong? Let's peel back a layer and discuss what I'm on the fence about this film. The cast. Most of the cast I'm on the fence about. For example, Kristen Wiig as Erin Gilbert. Her desire to become a recognized and well-respected scientist, all while trying to run from her paranormal past. That's a solid character, and Kristen Wiig does a pretty good job for the most part. Same with Melissa McCarthy as Abby Yates. Her character makes sense. She's the one who never abandoned her original integrity. She's the one who stuck it out through the hard times. She didn't go for the glory or the glamour. And Kate McKinnon, Jillian Holtzmann. She's the quirky mad scientist who's one part Egon Spengler, one part Doc Brown, and one part Gene Wilder's Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. You're putting me on.
She's got great comedic timing, and I might have a little bit of a crush on her. Yeah, she's quirky. I like quirky. But all three of these main characters are very shallow. They're very one note. Like, you don't see them progress any more than where they are at the beginning of this movie. Well, Kristen Wiig's character, you see her go from striving for the glory and glamour. She kind of humbles herself back a little bit. But besides that, they're okay. They don't really move through the story to gain development. And that's pretty similar to the comedy. It's a consistent bombardment of punchlines just over and over and over again.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. Did you want to?
Sorry, I'll let you.
Next time.
Holtzmann, come on. The hat is too much, right? Is it the wig or the hat?
Punchline after punchline after punchline. And it can be funny. That type of comedy is funny in minor parts. That's how this style of comedy works, in little spurts. But when you have a whole movie of just that punchline after punchline delivery, it gets boring. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to put the comedy on what I don't like. We're going to jump right into what I don't like about this movie, and we're going to continue talking about the comedy. I just made that change during this review. I had it on the fence, but now that I think about it, it's really starting to piss me off a little bit more. Halfway through this movie, we have a fart joke and 2 poop jokes. Yeah, this is the simplest form of comedy. I think every movie outside of slapstick should only be allowed 1 fart or poop joke. But we're halfway through this movie and we have 3. That's when you know that these script writers are reaching. This is where the movie made a misstep of treating the Ghostbusters franchise like children movies, because that is also where I would expect these types of jokes to land. Movies for children, which is okay, but not for a Ghostbusters movie. The original film that came out in 1984 was for the whole family. Jokes for adults and children. And they did great at it. It was a very good balance. And the original cast delivered those jokes organically because it seemed like they were just having fun. And as I said in my 2 previous reviews, that was the main source of what carried those movies from beginning to end. If you take the original Ghostbusters movie and you strip away everything that has to do with ghosts about it, it's a movie just focusing on these 4 guys, it would still be a funny and interesting movie. You do that with this movie, you take away the Ghostbusters aspect, it's not the same type of camaraderie. It's like watching a behind-the-scenes special for Saturday Night Live. You don't have that same magic with this movie. Leslie Jones as Patty Tolan. Nothing about this character makes sense to me. She literally adds nothing to the team, except a car. They get wrapped up with this character in the subway, but then later she just shows up and demands a job.
I'm joining the club.
For no good reason. And I guess they can afford to pay her. What? In the original Ghostbusters, Ernie Hudson's character, Winston, he came in, I'm just looking for a paycheck. Okay, you're hired. Then we see him develop as a character. He's a skeptic, but he becomes a believer. She has no development. She just wants to be in the Ghostbusters team because they're cool. Oh, and she knows New York.
You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York.
Because none of the other team members apparently know New York, like she does, even though they're all from New York. I don't get it. Feels like she was just shooed in. And I'm sorry, Leslie, I don't find your humor funny. Nothing you say in this movie made me laugh. Actually, I found it to be very annoying. You suck in this movie. Maybe your character could have been utilized, who did what Dan Aykroyd's character did, Ray, in the original Ghostbusters, and be the bridge between everybody else. No, you're just there, wasting space and time. So, good job with that. And by the way, no one cares about your opinion for the new Ghostbusters movie. Fan service. I will give a couple of nods to fan service. They did okay at. Like, the only one I can really think of that I thought was good fan service was the ghost in the train tunnel. The guy who was in the electric chair. Little nod to Ghostbusters 2. That's it. The rest of this fan service is literally just in there. Look at that. See that? Do you remember that? There it is. That's not good fan service. That's just putting things in a movie because people recognize it. It's junk food fan service. Just like the cameos. These cameos are junk food cameos. I think the only person who seemed like they had a little bit of fun, and maybe by accident, was Sigourney Weaver. She seemed like she may have had a little bit of fun on that day of shooting. Ernie Hudson, I'm here just delivering my lines. Dan Aykroyd, I'm just here delivering my lines. Bill fucking Murray shows up in this movie, and he looks bored as shit.
Is this true? Yes, it's true.
Like, Bill Murray has a signature. In every movie he's in, he Bill Murrays it up. If it's a serious role, if it's a comedic role, he adds an element to a movie. That's why people hire him. That element is nowhere to be found in this film. He literally just dresses up, says his lines, and he's out of there. But overall, this movie did not suffer from its storytelling. It had fun, interesting, interactive, adventurous moments. And the reason why I'm harping on this movie so bad is because it is a Ghostbusters movie. Or they say it's a Ghostbusters movie. This is not a Ghostbusters movie. In fact, this is a Scooby-Doo movie. Yes, take away the Ghostbusters, put the Scooby-Doo gang in there, and you have yourself the perfect Scooby-Doo movie. Scooby-Doo and Ghostbusters are on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But basically what they did was they made a great Scooby-Doo movie and wrapped it in Ghostbuster flesh. I would consider this an okay movie to put on for a Halloween party held for 6-year-olds. And I personally have no interest in seeing this movie ever again. And for all these reasons, I'm giving this movie a D.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
Let me know what you guys thought about this movie in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out some more of my videos right here. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
Can, boss. Ghostbusters.
Oh, conductors in the metaphysical.
Okay, cool. See ya. Hey, guys, which one of these makes me look more like a doctor?
Who was on the phone?
The Stonebrook Theater. There's a goat on the loose.